Test. Hello, everybody. We are live, and you'll be able to see us in a second after I fix my camera.
What Pixar did I miss?
Oh, you're about to find out. Jed doesn't know about it. Actually, I'm just gonna tell him. Oh, you put it on here.
Why won't you tell me?
Well, because then if I tell you, then Jeff will hear, Christian. We're on the same call.
Oh, I thought you were going to DM him.
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
Tell him here on the show.
I thought you were going to leave me out of the loop. I was like, what did I do?
Oh, I am, but you know,
No, it's okay. If everybody's out of the loop, if everybody else is out of the loop, I'm fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
Okay, that looks good. Let's do this. Bang, bang, bang.
Listen,
That is the wrong
motherfucker.
scene. Hang on, let me fix this. Let's go to...
Oh, you can't be mean to fire hair.
That's okay. All right. English.
English.
There's that.
But still, I still think that I did nothing wrong.
Okay, wait, what? You think you'd... Oh, when you yelled English, right, okay.
Bruh, my brain's so cooked. I was talking and then like I will put English words while I'm speaking Spanish. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. I can't think of Spanish word anymore. I'm getting infected.
Okay, I think I'm ready to start us up. You guys ready?
Yep, ready to go.
I was born ready, brother.
All right, let me turn off this. And... All right, actually, let's see if this audio...
Yeah, check the music.
Yeah, let me check the music. Yep, that is there. Okay.
We can skid afterward.
Yep, I will ski once we're live.
All right.
You guys hear that?
Nope.
Okay, let's see there. Fix this. Hear that?
There we go.
Yep.
Yes.
Let me just shift this thing.
Excuse me,
That's
God.
good. That's good. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, I'm counting us in. We're getting going.
Yep.
In 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Pesticides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything happening in the world of video games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb, and with me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, EA cuts jobs at BioWare, Forza on PlayStation, and Mitch, it's Marvin, your cousin, Marvin Tokoto. You know that new Ridge Racer you're looking for? Well, listen to this. It's not. It's not new.
I'll take it. I'll take it anyway.
How you doing, Mike Minotti?
Good. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Oh my gosh, Ridge Racer developments.
That's
Ridge
right.
Racer developments.
Things are
happened.
developing. That's the big news there. That's good stuff. All right, hang on. I gotta fix this in my ear. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So Ridge Racer 64 is on Nintendo Switch Online N64 plus expansion pack or however they put it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Not the best Ridge Racer.
No, but it's the best one that they could put on the Switch via just a port on NSO.
That's right, by far.
Yeah, I mean, look, some of the best things about Ridge Racer are the CD audio, right? But still,
yeah.
hey, I'll take it. That's neat. And it's just, I'm not going to read too much into it, but this is something with Ridge Racer. It's getting kind of dropped on its own there. It's also just cool in general to see more third-party stuff on NSO, more Konami. I don't think there are very many Konami games at all on NSO. There are a few, but not a ton.
That's Namco, right?
Namco, yes. Oh no, I'm a fake gamer.
Well, I mean,
I brain farted.
all those other things you said are true if you just swap in Namco instead. And there's
bet.
more Namco than Konami, to be fair.
I was gonna. Maybe there's even fewer Namco. Probably not.
No, probably
not.
Okay, but let's read into it, Mike. Let's read.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If you had a Ridge Racer game ready to launch on a Switch 2 in a couple months, what's a good way?
Shut up!
What's a good way to get people ready for it?
Oh, Jeff, I'm not even joking anymore. You have to get to the bottom of this.
You know what? I will legitimately ask a couple people, and I'll see if there's anything. I'll see if there's anything. Probably not, but boy, that'd be fun. I was for shoot playing Ridge Racer Type 4 last night in bed on my Trim UI, and gotta say, that game like really puts a lot of things like into focus of just how cool the PlayStation is, for one.
Yeah, right.
And actually how important being cool is to the PlayStation, because there are loading times, and it isn't going to be an instant response when you're even trying to go through the menus. So you really had to make up for it with style. And that's actually a cool thing. Like having like a moment where you have to wait and the developers are forced to create the most stylish shit you've ever seen or heard to fill in that gap is so crucially important. And really, I think Ridge Racer Type 4 is the most polished game ever made. And like
I can see that, right? It's just down to the menus. It is glistening.
Yes, and it's like the good kind, polished in every way, like in the presentation. And I think like I definitely am someone who still has a huge fondness for N64. It's more the N64 has its polish all done on like gameplay, experimentation, and physics, and then PlayStation has it all, like, not that it doesn't have that stuff, it has that stuff as well, but it has it all when it comes to style and presentation. So boy.
Yeah, but man, we should do something. How can we ever settle this N64 versus PlayStation 1 debate once and for all?
Impossible to do that. Maybe we'll figure something out by the end of this episode, though.
Okay.
So yeah, speaking of which,
Year of Dreams!
Year of Dreams, everybody. Thank you
for video games, not elsewhere.
Yeah, nightmare everywhere else. Year of Dreams for games. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You can rate us and help people find the show. You can give hit the like button here on YouTube. That will also help people find the program while we're live or later as a VOD. If you want to ask a question, you could drop a super chat during the program. We'll get to all of those before the end of the show. Thanks to Carlos Ayin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to 1UP vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more at 1UpVersusCPU.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Christian for producing. And you can get more from Mike and me and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to our Discord server, participation in Q&A sessions and our Game Club discussions, early access to new episodes of Game Mess, Jeopardy, and Columbros, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. That's patreon.com/GameMess. Of course, as always, if you want to hit the membership button here on YouTube, you get all the same stuff. If you want to subscribe at twitch.tv/Tolkoto, you get all of the same stuff. So feel free to do either one of those if that's your preference. All right.
Wait, one more thing real quick here.
Yep.
I want to quote Creaky Legs on Blue Sky. And the Ridge racists said it couldn't be done.
Yeah. They're out there. They don't believe. They don't believe in you. They don't believe in Ridge Racer. Yeah, very cool. I actually saw this was happening. Is there a date? Is it on there like now?
I think it's now.
That's
I don't know
cool.
why I'm here.
Yeah?
I think it's now.
That's cool. I'll play through this game. Again,
Yeah.
not the best Ridge Racer, but it's especially because that's the one thing. N64 usually had a slower frame rate than PlayStation games, and that was true in Ridge Racer, and you really want that there.
Right. Even though it's like such a prolific console for racing games, right? They
Yep.
just couldn't make enough of them for the thing.
Yep. Silicon Graphics hardware turned out was very good for that.
We have Ridge Racer on there before like Cruisin' USA.
Yeah, we might.
That's a little interesting.
Is that? Yeah, that might be the case. Man, there was three, and there were three cruising games on the N64.
Right,
So easily
and
just
Rush.
Yeah.
Like,
San Francisco Rush, I'd take.
Right. There's a lot of racing games, even Beetle Racing Adventure, the licensing, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, no idea who owns San Francisco Rush these days. I would be curious to know that.
That's a
too.
great question. I want to see if I can find out right now.
All right, let's get into it. BioWare is betting it all on Mass Effect 5 after even more layoffs. They announced layoffs this week. They also said they were going to send a lot of people into other parts of EA, but they said many, not all. So some people were definitely laid off. That was confirmed. I mean, I can confirm that myself. But people who work there have begun reaching out on social media and saying, yes, I no longer am employed at EA or BioWare because they laid me off. This is partially the normal post-release reduction of staff, but partially also they are reducing the staff because they are all in on Mass Effect, which means they're making one game now instead of how they were making two games just a few months ago. And so they're not making two games going forward, so they're not going to getting ready for the thing after Mass Effect, as if Mass Effect is, really the big bet. And if that doesn't work out, they are just going to give up. Yeah, that's definitely seems like what is happening here. Obviously, they have said publicly, EA, that Dragon Age, the Veilguard, underperformed. That was right next to EA Football Club not making enough money, and that was much bigger in terms of affecting EA's bottom line. But also, they want these games that they put a lot of money into to make money. And this one, it got 1.5 million players, I think they said. They were expecting 3 million players. So yeah, missed by about half, and that was going to doom a lot of people working at BioWare right away, and here we are.
Yeah, it's not a shocking development in some ways, right? That statement that BioWare released is weird because if you read that, you would think there weren't layoffs, right? Or unless I missed the part it said that, it's like, yeah, we just moved some people around and we got a great new strategy. It's super exciting. But yeah, there's tons of reports of these layoffs. Sounds like the entire story team from Dragon Age, the Veilguard, let go, among others. That one's interesting because, that's one of the things that got criticized maybe the loudest about the Veilguard was the writing. Do you think that was a very targeted move there to go after the entire writing staff?
I think it's easy to draw that line 1-to-1, and I'm sure it did them no favors that stuff was heavily criticized, but I bet it's more along the lines of we are maybe years away from needing that kind of work done in a lot of ways on Mass Effect 5. And when we do need it, we're going to build up slowly. And we'd like to build up and have control over that and decide pick who we want to work on this game on the narrative as we go and not have a team that's just sitting there waiting around for that work ready to be done. So I bet it's more just a byproduct of how the process is going to work with Mass Effect 5.
Yeah. I mean, they're very clear. Mass Effect still in pre-production. This game was announced years ago, and we always knew it was a while away. But gosh, for it to still be that early on, and obviously a lot of people were just moved onto Dragon Age there to kind of get that over the finish line. Now it's like, man, was that the right move? Maybe you should have taken your time more with Dragon Age and then really, naturally spin up Mass Effect. Maybe it was just a matter of getting Dragon Age out as quick as you can so you can move on to Mass Effect. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably it. And really, would an extra 2 years on this game have made much of a difference? Because it's structurally it just needed to be shifted. It needed to be even more ambitious than it was. And really, they spent so long just trying to rescue it in the first place that it was probably never going to be worth it. Yeah, I don't know.
First teased in 2020. I mean, I know games get announced early, but that means that there are literally 3 years where people weren't nobody was really working on this game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody somewhere maybe, but nobody's day to day was thinking about Mass Effect 5.
At least not recently. There was definitely a time before they were on the end sprint for for Dragon Age, where there was probably more people working on Mass Effect at that time, but in the year leading up to that, I had always heard it's like, nope, everyone's moved over to Dragon Age, so no one is working on Mass Effect, and now everyone's working on Mass Effect. Now, that was the part of the spin that you were talking about was saying, hey, no, this is about focusing entirely on Mass Effect 5. We're making this game. It's going to come out. This is our main focus. Yeah, God, having all the eggs in the basket of just Mass Effect has got to be a little bit scary for them. But I mean, really, what other choice do
Right.
they have? Because this
They don't
is
have any other baskets left. Everybody, like, Dragon Age seemed like a decent basket at the time, and now it seems like that basket's burned. You can't even really
all the
try.
baskets are burned. Yeah.
All the baskets are burned. It's not like they can go back to Baldur's Gate. They're not going to get the Star Wars license again. Part of me's like, hey, how about maybe you can let them make that KOTOR remake you were talking about at one point or another, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a safe bet, but probably not happening. But boy, it's so difficult with Mass Effect because that game means a lot to a lot of people, but it means different things to so many different people. And everybody has a very clear idea of what they want from a next Mass Effect. And it just seems like it's going to be really hard to make those people happy. And on top of that, another criticism I heard about Dragon Age was a lot of people are like, I just don't care anymore. It's been too long, right? Acquisition came out, so long ago. I don't really know if I care about what happened with Solus. Well, like Mass Effect, sure, Andromeda, not super long ago, still pretty long ago, but the last one anyone actually cared about, 3, feels like a lifetime ago. The Legacy Collection helps there, maybe, and maybe that'll be a big help, right? Because that did really well, and it gave a lot of people a chance to go back to those first 3 games and get reacquainted and maybe fall in love all over again. But still, this is a daunting task, and I'm kind of preparing myself. I hate to say it, but for the worst here, because if this one also doesn't meet expectations, after Veilguard, after Anthem, after Andromeda, I can't imagine there's going to be another chance.
Yeah. And I think you're right that sure, the Legendary Edition does position this new one to be in a little bit better place to capitalize on the excitement for Mass Effect. But we're in such a different time. I mean, when Mass Effect was starting, they could tell us this is going to be a trilogy, and we could believe that they would see it through, and they did. And for all the bumps and bruises that happened along the way with Mass Effect 3, eventually, they made 3 Mass Effect games, and it could be this thing. They're like, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to get into this because I'm going to play this one, and it'll be a little bit of a wait, but the other one will be coming, and I could just look forward to this forever, and this is a saga. It's like, it is my generation Star Wars in a lot of ways. And, this next one's going to come out, and they're not going to make any promises, and they're probably not going to start working on a Mass Effect 6 right away. And so I think people are going to be like, this is a little bit more disposable, unless there is just so much depth and so much content and so much stuff that you can ignore so you could try it out on your next playthrough, like a Baldur's Gate 3. And God, people are going to get sick of hearing that, but boy, we're just going to keep saying it because it is the defining game in that genre now. Unless it's like that, people are going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm a little bit excited about this, but there's not much meat on the bone, and I'm not really like to build a relationship with this game. It's going to be one I kind of play through and forget. And that's a shame that's where we're at, but it's where we're at.
And it's so difficult, these sci-fi games, right? Because you can see the scope getting out of control, and then you end up with something like a Starfield, right?
Yeah.
Which, not some big disaster or something, but the next Mass Effect is going to have to do better than that. Because, let's be honest, if there's going to be another game that BioWare ever makes it to this, it's just going to be Mass Effect 6, right? They'll just get those people going on the next one. That might be their only pillar at the moment. It'll be a long time until they'll ever get a chance to start building another pillar. It could just be all Mass Effect or nothing.
Yep, that seems to be the potential here. All right, let's keep moving. Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation. I think they said it was happening in March. I didn't write it down. This is like... you definitely reminded me of people kind of getting all in my face when I was like, hey, they're talking about maybe bringing Gears of War to PlayStation.
You forget and forgive. I don't.
Yes.
I remember all these people, right? Some, not just listeners, I'll say, be like, how? They would never. Where's he hear that? Gears is sacred. Forza's sacred. Nothing's sacred.
And Nikki says, breaking news. So breaking news, Forza coming to PlayStation. Go watch today's Virtua Fighter thing, everybody, on Giant Bomb. Yeah, you're right. I'd forgotten about that. And it's like some of the comments to that were like, what is he going to say next? Forza's coming to PlayStation. And I thought that was very funny to read today. So yeah, Forza is on PlayStation. Everything's coming to PlayStation. They're done. They're over. They've told us a million times. That is legitimately old news at this point. You can definitely also tell hey, oh, that's why Phil Spencer was on all those podcasts last week, trying to like pave the way and soothe people and remind them, hey, we're still making all those games you want. Just we are going to be on PlayStation. Get used to it.
Right. And, we also had Microsoft's earnings recently, and we saw a very large drop in hardware sales for Xbox. I forget exactly, but, like 20, 30 something like that, a ton. So, yeah, of course, they're going to have to start playing these games on more platforms. That may not just include PlayStation, right? So there might be some other options there. Who knows? Boy, I know they keep saying that they still believe in the hardware, and I bet there's going to be another Xbox. But how much further, how much more does this have to slow down? And how kind of unsplashy can the debut of the next box be for that to change also?
Yeah, I mean, it is like a little bit of a death spiral. I look at it from two sides. One side, it's a death spiral of they sell fewer Xboxes, so they stop caring as much, but they also sell fewer third-party software at 30% a pop on that platform, so they care less about having their own hardware as well, and then it just spirals into nothingness. But on the other side of things, it's like, an Xbox is probably still, like, if you look at it this way, as a computer, probably one of the best-selling computers of all time, the Xbox Series X. It's going to sell better than any laptop from Compaq, Presario, and Gateway, or whoever else is making laptops 25 years ago. Like how much of these devices really need to sell to make sense? Because when you look at a laptop, they're selling a few 100,000 of those, maybe the best selling. I mean, Apple's selling millions, sure, but any one Windows manufacturer is only selling a couple 100,000. And so, yeah, if they're just like going to treat it as another computer that they're making, they make a lot of Microsoft Surface devices. I bet Xbox has sold way more than Surface devices. So if they can like couch it that way internally, maybe they're going to keep making it forever. But you're right. There's a chance that it doesn't make as much sense. If they need to keep doing it, though, to maintain a positive relationship with fans who have purchased a lot of games that only play on Xbox devices, that there's only so many of those, because now those are buy anywhere, and if you buy a game on Xbox, you get it on their PC store as well. But a lot of those people don't want to go to PC. So if they have to maintain a good relationship with those people by continuing to make hardware, they probably will, because they will be making so much money with Call of Duty. And it's not like the Xbox making the hardware and selling it to people will lose money. They will just actually make fewer boxes, and they'll just sell to that niche audience going forward.
Yeah. I just wonder if they're going to be as sort of engineered as they are today, right? With kind of a lot of bespoke components and UI elements. So they're just going to look more and more like PCs. Yeah,
I think if I were them and I had like the sort of energy like sort of allocation game in front of me, and I'm like, what energy, where are we going to put this energy? We're going to put it into making bespoke hardware with a bespoke chip from AMD. No, let's get off the shelf stuff, and let's put all that energy into making sure that using this thing is the friendliest experience you've ever seen. And if we are going to open this thing up and have, Steam and Epic Game Store and PlayStation stores on here, let's make sure it's so easy to do that. And it's so fast and so quick, and everything just works. That would be my focus. And if they could do that, I think there's still a reason for people to buy an Xbox. Probably not me, but people.
Yeah. I think you're right. I don't think the Xbox hardware is going away imminently soon. Forza was like kind of one of the big three, right? We talked about that. Gears of War, Halo. There's really no reason to be surprised anymore when they announced that, Gears E-Day is going to come to PlayStation, and then whatever that next Halo is, that too.
Yep, 100%. I mean, this is it. Forza was the one. Now we know. Gears and Halo are coming to PlayStation, and that's not a surprise. All right. Capcom Spotlight plus Monster Hunter Wilds Showcase happening February 4th. They're going to give us an update on Monster Hunter Wilds, pretty in-depth thing, in-depth look at that separate from their Capcom Spotlight, which will feature Onimusha Way of the Sword, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. That's a very exciting lineup on its own. But you expecting any surprises here? I had a conversation this morning with Jan about, we're wondering, going back and forth about Resident Evil 9. We both thought, probably not here.
No, it's kind of not big enough, right?
Yes.
Capcom's own thing, right? You need to do that on like a Keighley show at this point, right? Or a Nintendo something, even one of the PlayStation or Xbox things. these Capcom spotlights, they're never a giant deal, right? It's just talking about things we know about here. Like we'll get something like Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which I'm looking forward to. Doesn't have a release date, I believe. So maybe we get that now that it's been a little bit since the Marvel vs. Capcom collection has been out, and that'll make me happy.
What if we get Pragmata update, huh? Everybody?
Oh God, Pragmata. I'm always like, what? Oh right.
I can't believe they did another Deep Down. In fact, you know what?
Yeah.
I can believe it, and I love it. Capcom is the best. They're the best.
They're genius.
They're genius. They're the best at what they're doing right now, and they still also have vaporware once per generation. And I am absolutely in love with it. Yeah, they got a Deep Down too.
Yeah, even the stuff that this looks like a Deep Down, but they end up releasing like the dinosaur game. That thing is fun, you know.
Exoprimal, yeah.
Yeah, Exoprimal. Even the stuff that you think is like, oh, that's another Deep Down. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Whatever, it's cool. They do cool stuff. Also, the second open beta for Monster Hunter Wilds, they're probably gonna announce that there. So I'm pretty excited.
That game is out later in February, right?
Yep.
28th.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So this thing's at the beginning of February on the 4th. The end of February, I'll actually get the game in between. They'll have one last test, right? Okay. Sure.
I'm so relieved I'm going to have my new computer before that game comes out. That was like the big impetus, like, I need a new computer, was Monster Hunter Wild.
I am using the 5080, and while, it's definitely kind of like... It beats 4090 in some things here or there, and if you are not sensitive to multi-frame generation, it could be better than it in a lot of stuff, but that's going to be a case-by-case basis. But overall, it's a good card. It's a good card if you are not an insane person who pays attention to every single little detail about the hardware space. If you are making direct comparisons to the 4080 Super, I think is the one that they eventually only had. It's just not that much of an improvement, and it's not that spectacular. It is a disappointment for sure. But if you are like you, Mike, you have the
3070.
Yeah.
3070, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be an upgrade.
It's going to be a major upgrade, and it's a high-end card that delivers a lot of performance.
Yeah, when I saw Blue Sky, I was like, hey, I'm going to get a pre-built 3080. What else do I need? I know they're trying to help. There's too many people who are like, you don't want a 3080.
For your
I was like, no, that was the one part I told you I was going to do.
Yes, yeah.
Here's a video from Linus, Tooltips or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, you can't.
Tooltips is pretty funny.
Those people are they're too in it. And I mean, sorry, but yeah, everyone's too in it. And they're like, just go get a used 4080 or 4090 instead. And no, because the 5080 is going to get supported longer. It's going to have, the drivers will improve. NVIDIA's drivers are always pretty good out of the gate relative compared to AMD, but it will improve over time. Yes, get the 5080. All right. Okay. So the studio that Dr. Disrespect used to work with closes. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Christian.
Yep, shutting down.
Midnight Society is shutting down. Yeah. There were a lot of people working there on that game. Who was the guy from? Was it Infinity Ward, or was he from the other Call of Duty studio?
It was Robert Bowden.
Yes.
It was the Call of Duty guy, and the Halo guy was Quinn Deloyo.
Yep.
Deloyo, I think is his name. Yes, they were the other two big guys on that team.
Yeah, I think if you were ever had any skepticism about Dr. Disrespect and like whether or not those texts with the underage girl were a problem, his reaction to that and seeing those, because apparently he always said publicly, it's like, I've seen them. I can't associate with someone who does this. That reaction should tell you everything you need to know. This is not too surprising. It seemed doomed from that moment, right?
Yeah. Also, it was an NFT game, so they were like involving all that.
Right. Yeah, NFT extraction shooter.
Extraction shooter.
All the stars are here.
Hey, wait. Was it really called Dead Drop?
Dead Drop.
Yeah, but like put together so the D was shared by both.
Yeah, you're missing a D.
Yeah.
Okay. Dead Drop.
Oh,
yeah, Dead Drop. Yeah,
that's
you're correct. It tells you also how how long the NFT thing still like lingers, because you would think that all that NFT video games will just left us already.
I do think that frequently.
it still happens, you know. It's like, oh, there's another NFT games. Like Ubisoft still have their own NFT stuff going on. I'm like, when is this going to
Ubisoft
end?
Quartz, exactly.
Yeah, when is this whole NFT craziness gonna end?
Enjoy the uniqueness of your digits. It's just nonsense. Like, what the hell is this shit? And it is just so frustrating seeing it all obviously fail when it was so obviously all going to fail. The companies that are doing well right now are ones who barely or didn't at all engage with this bullshit. The ones that are struggling more, Square Enix, right? That president wrote his whole freaking New Year's thing about this was our
multiple
big push.
New Year's things.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Ubisoft, real big on this shit. The one that actually released some games. How's that going over there? Yeah, now this game can't even come out without the support of its pedophile superstar financier. So that's dead too. Great.
It sounds to me, Mike, like you have not been keeping up with your regimen of ayahuasca and ketamine, and your mind's not open. That's what it sounds like to me.
You're not tuned into the NFT war, brother. Yeah, it feels bad for the workers who they were a legit studio as far as everyone, they were working on stuff. So I hope they found
that's going around, right? That God is a Geek website. Everyone quit today because the former priest, who is still the owner but not directly involved with everything, did a Nazi.
He's the Nazi.
He did a Nazi salute.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? What a cowardly chicken shit that guy is. He was not even willing to do it the way Musk did it. He just kind of threw his arm up a little bit.
Half-heartedly did.
Yeah, you did a half-hearted chest.
Yeah, he didn't throw his chest into it. It's like, what a piece of shit this guy. He doesn't even have the guts to do it for real.
I can't believe Grubb is complaining about politics again. I'm really mad in the comments.
Oh man, yeah. This is not social media stuff. This is the news, everybody. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, everybody.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Plenty of super chats again too. We'll do that right after this.
You just get to it.
Break.
Cool. Yep. Let's run right through this.
Yeah, my connection broke for a little bit, so I'm gonna need your recording later.
Okay, no problem. Just remind me when we are done.
All right, let's go back into it then.
I did just skeet Pragmata in with the link to the YouTube, and I hope people don't read into that, but yeah, it's just a funny thing. All right, I'm gonna bring us back in. All right, we're back. Mike, super chats. Let's go.
Simon Esty says Gaming God has brought down PC, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation from the mountain. In decrees, you must split them between the two of you. How is it done? I get Nintendo and PC.
You motherfucker. What the fuck?
Called it.
Dibs rules. Shotgun. I would give you Nintendo if I got PC. I could live with that.
Yeah.
That's rough,
I guess I'd do that. But if I had Nintendo and PlayStation, I'd be pretty happy.
Okay.
If you have PC and Xbox, it's like the same thing.
Yeah, that sucks, actually, dude. Honestly, you get Nintendo, I get PlayStation and PC.
What if
I trade you PlayStation for Nintendo and I get PC and Nintendo?
This kind of puts it in perspective for me of where I am with these things. God, it's so funny for so long. People are trying to figure out or accuse us which one of Xbox and PlayStation were we the fanboys.
God, I saw it again the other day. It was someone was like, he was doing that Xbox podcast round. That should tell you all you need to know. I'm like, people invited me on their shows. What do you want from me? That's a very weird thing to think.
There's a lot more Xbox podcasts than PlayStation podcasts for some reason. What do you want?
Yep, absolutely.
Simon from Saskatchewan says, wow, Mike, bringing up Frodo, Nine Fingers song. Those rough movies bring back childhood memories. What about the other banger song from the movie? Where there's a whip, there's a way. That is a good one.
Are they musicals?
There's a way. Yeah, where there's a whip. We don't want to go to war today.
I'm gonna nay.
Yeah. Well, so because that was the guys who did the claymation shit did the two cartoon ones. The Hobbit one was very good. Probably still the best adaptation of the Hobbit that we have. I liked that a lot. And then instead of doing Lord of the Rings, so that's a lot, they just did Return of the King, which is wild. So that one's weird, but it has a couple banging songs. And then you have that weird rotoscoped one. right? Yeah, Rick and Bass did the cartoons, and who was it who did those weird rotoscoped Lord of the Rings movie?
It was I can't remember his name, but
it just ends in Helm's Deep because they run out of money.
Yes,
which is pretty funny.
Yeah, he did a lot of animation, but it was like a lot of like on his own, just trying to get money. Yeah, that was cool stuff.
Right, exactly.
The one thing I know about all this is
Baskey. Ralph Baskey.
Yes, it's Ralph Baskey. Was Proud Feet, that shot from the live action movies, was an homage to the animated one where they had kind of a similar frame shot. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like, there's artistic merit to that movie for sure, despite its weirdness, right? They were trying something there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the animated Return of the King movie, that is something. Next one here is also from Simon from Saskatchewan. Says, Jeff, would Brawl's tripping improve Red Dead 2?
Yeah.
I know you guys couldn't handle a realistic animation of somebody opening a drawer. Think it'll be great if your character falls down randomly every 2 minutes.
I just think it makes the game shitty.
Simon from Saskatchewan says, ever played Adventures of Lomax, Weird Lemmings spinoff for PS1, or a Kuji gem game? Got them Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero for a loony each as a team.
Wow.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. I want to play Adventures of Lomax a lot. It looks very pretty for a 2D game on PS1.
Yeah, that's that game that looks very good. Yes.
Yeah. And then Akuji, I believe, is just Cave, the Tomb Raider, and Gex people. They made another 3D platformer that's just, kind of like voodoo themed. And it's like, like a rated T for teen 3D platformer kind of thing. It looks fun. Yeah. So I'd like to try both of those for sure.
Same.
Tuber says Leonard Nimoy's Bilbo song is better.
Sure.
Penis.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Richard Harris's I Left the Cake Out in the Rain song is even better. I don't know why
that's an actual banger.
I associate that song with all of this stuff for some reason. I have no idea why.
Did you see the new Beetlejuice?
No. I have it on my Plex, but I have not watched it.
Yeah, there's a very extended dance sequence thing with MacArthur Park. And it's kind of neat, but it goes on for a long time.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, they ended the first movie with that one dance number,
and trying to do that.
And they're doing the same joke again. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Grug says Blight Club Hall of Fame for Game Mess Hall of Fame. So they think, we should do another Hall of Fame here soon.
We'll do that soon, everybody.
Willow Davis says Brawl is good. Listen, in terms of like all the video games ever made, there are probably way more good points about Brawl and lots of good things. Just that when I think about Brawl, clearly my feelings are bad. It bums me out. It makes me angry when I think about Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So maybe I can't say it's a bad game, but I dislike it.
You ever have one of those? I listen to some video game podcasts, and occasionally I'll have these moments where I'll hear the host say something. And I want to do the Walter White in the backseat of the car yelling no, because I know that they're going to get yelled at by their fans in the community. Vinny had one of those this week where he's like,
"Oh no!"
He's like, "Why is Smash Brothers controlled with the analog stick? I just can't respect a fighting game that doesn't work with the D-pad." And I was like, "Vinny, no, don't do it! Stop!"
No.
And it's like he had just talked about how his son was like, because his son is super into it. He's like getting points from his son. I'm like, your son is not telling you some very important things about the way Smash Brother works if you don't appreciate the analog stick. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, oh boy.
We were just reacting like we saw like an accident happen when you were telling that story. That's crazy.
People say it's right. Like you guys understand how the attacks work in Smash Brothers, right? You want
No, they don't. It's just the same people who they have a lot of Smash Bros. Opinions for not playing it. Also, like, look, I love the GameCube controller. Nobody wanted to use that D-pad.
No,
right?
that's fair.
That thing was tiny and bad. Next up is from Chris Pratt, who says it would be pretty funny if Mario tripped after stomping a fupa every now and then. Okay,
and we want to make Chris Pratt laugh, Mike. Come on.
Here's the other thing. This idea that you guys think it's some kind of like comedy routine, the tripping. I know that you don't actually remember what it looks like because you all thought that it was just some other stage hazard or Pokemon attack hitting you because you turned all items on to 200%. But it's not some funny, they fall on their face, like long animation. It's just like 2 frames where you lose control and then they're on the ground. Like, that's it. It's not funny.
It seems pretty funny, at least your
It
reaction
would
to
be
it.
funny if I was there getting mad at it for you. I know. I understand that, but I won't be there. I refuse to be a part of it.
I will never be in a house with Smash Brothers Brawl.
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
JD Camp says, watch Bowser's Hurry. Loved seeing 4 guys beat it. Thank you, JD Camp. The intro was very happy for Mike getting Ridge Racer back. I should mention that Brawl sold better than every Ridge Racer. So, yeah, it sure did. It sure did.
Brawl sold better than most things, yeah.
Tuber says, I wish I had hope in my life like the way Mike talks about Ridge Racer. I am glad, like, I got a million notifications when they announced this. I'm glad I'm disassociated with Ridge Racer now.
I've been meaning to, like, ask you and Dan on, like, Blake Club, but, you know, the time was never right, about, like, what are your associations? And, because yours is Ridge Racer, do you have anything else? And I think Dan, anytime anything happens in wrestling, Dan gets a lot of that stuff. Mine is definitely, when that Roadcraft game got a date, everyone's like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? I'm like, bitches, this is my whole personality. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, Dan's got Metal Gear. I got Mega Man, probably, and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Next up is Prinny Dude says, so is this what Sega fans had to go through? Also, how long does it take Xbox being third party to be normalized to like current Sega? Well, it is just a little bit different, right? Because there is still going to be Xbox hardware. Like that's it. Imagine if there was a Dreamcast 2, even though the Sega games and the Sonic games were coming out on GameCube and Xbox, right?
Yep. And imagine people had a giant library of Dreamcast games, both physical and digital, that were going to work on the Dreamcast 2. A relatively massive library. It's very different.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what it looks like before we really understand. So much does come down to what does that next Xbox actually look like, right? There's so many possibilities there.
Right. And like the best-selling consoles were still yet to come at that point. We're probably past that point now. The best-selling consoles have probably happened.
Yeah, but not to still be the sad Sega fan, right? But it was worse when the Dreamcast was dying. Because, yeah, we were just losing Sega hardware forever. And there's a lot of questions about what the whole company is going to look like. And I mean, in some ways, not till, like, now. It was like, yeah, Sega's in a pretty good place. Not that it's been terrible forever, right?
It's had some, like, good spots. But, like, a lot of it was like, oh, this is a very different Sega. They're making really good PC games for 10 years straight. And that's just weird. Yeah. Now they have that and all their classic Sega stuff.
Screaming Man, it says, any cool gaming goals y'all did this month? For me, this month was beating Retro 2s, beat Sly 2, Donkey Kong Country 2, Dave the Tentacle, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Oh, I like that. My big one was Earthbound, so that was a huge one to get off my pile of shame.
Yeah, mine was just like, I just want to beat a game. Like, I want to just accomplish something. And honestly, Bowser's Fury, I counted. So I was like, okay, that's good. I can kind of feel good and try to get my my momentum going again.
Yeah, then before you know it, you'll beat Thousand Year Door. It's gonna be
Grim Fandango is gonna happen. So yeah, I was playing Thousand Year Door last night.
Sadat the Gamer says, Nate the Hate says he heard Sony stayed up play in February. Your sources saying the same, and will Wolverine be there? Love you guys. Thank you, Sadat.
Like last time I checked, I noted that pretty good Sony source said they hadn't heard anything. That doesn't mean there isn't one. But then they mentioned that they had heard of a Nintendo Direct in February. So that was like a very funny thing that happened. I will check in again here pretty soon. I imagine as now we enter February, in a couple days now, that'll probably start perking up as well. So yeah, I bet we'll hear about this. I think there is going to be one in February. I bet Nate is right.
It'll be interesting to see if Wolverine's there. Because like, I'm like wondering if that game's coming out this year. So for me, it's like, if I don't see it at this next state of play, I'm not really going to count on it coming out in 2025. That might be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah, you're right. Could be wrong.
Bro No Trigger says, I keep thinking BioWare just needs to make Mass Effect 5 even hornier than Baldur's Gate 3, and it will be a huge success. More boobs and more penis. Let's fucking go.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think about this, Jeff, sometimes that, like, I'm not proud of it, but boy, if I was making one of these RPGs, like, I hate to say it, but I would probably be just putting in some absolute husbandos and all of the waifus, that's the other word, and everything in between, right?
I think
it would be pandering, I'm not gonna lie.
Right, but it's like, who are you pandering to, like, these days with an RPG like this? I think that for a while they're like, we gotta like make sure that these games represent these people from all these different groups. And really, I think what those groups want is like, just give me some hot people. That's who I like aspire to. We all aspire to that, and I just want to play around with hot people. And I think people are kind of coming to grips with that. So it's like even EA can now feel comfortable just making an RPG with a lot of hot people that bang. I think if I were at that team, I would be trying to figure out what like the next gen like relationship system looks like, trying to focus on like innovations in husbandos and waifus, but at the very least, you got to get some attractive characters in there.
Yeah, and I mean, the Mass Effect games have always been pretty horny. The Dragon Age games were usually pretty horny. I didn't get far enough Vilgard to know, but I don't know, maybe my weird secondhand incorrect impression is that it kind of maybe wasn't as much of that thing. I don't know if that backfired. I don't know if it should backfire. I think it's weird if that's the case. But Mass Effect with Miranda and Talara, the blue woman, right? And then they made a robot who wanted to have sex with you also. Everybody wants Garrus because he's a hot lizard alien. It's the Thane. That everybody's hot in Mass Effect for the most part.
Yeah, it's actually like an important part of that franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably lean into it at this point. Right? I don't think they're going to be subtle about that aspect of it. Wouldn't it be funny if they just had somebody having sex with a bear in the first trailer for Mass Effect?
That would rule. That would be. I would respect that so much.
This what you freaks want? Is this what you need?
I would love that. That does sound like something Outer Worlds 2 would do, like for real, for shoot. I mean, but yes, I would love that if it was Mass Effect.
AGB Time says the biggest monkey's paw scenario for Mike is that a new Ray Tracer is in the works, but it's being developed by Sakurai, and he's added stripping. I do laugh when I think about tripping in games. Where
yes.
Like, what do you even mean?
Like what is? Yeah, like when the banana peel gets thrown out in like the Billy Madison movie, and that car goes over it, and the whole family dies.
Right. The O'Doyle.
The O'Doyles.
God, the stupid things I can't remember. The name of the O'Doyles, and then I'm still mad that I forgot that Ridge Racer was Namco and not Konami earlier.
that doesn't matter. The O'Doyles, though, the O'Doyles rule.
Yeah. O'Doyles rule. Alex says, in the search for infinite growth, do you think PlayStation ever start releasing on Xbox, or is there just not enough of them to make that worthwhile?
Yeah, probably not. I think like if we had to like put money down, I'd say that probably never happens. That doesn't mean it won't happen. There is a way. I think, the reality is it doesn't even have to like be put on Xbox. If the Xbox is a PC and PlayStation makes a PlayStation store, suddenly PlayStation games are just on Xbox. And
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
And I don't know how much Sony would care. They wouldn't.
Kyle Starr says Kendrick Starr says most Game Pass members are probably console owners.
Yes, correct. That's true, for sure. I remember, Phil told me on the couch, we're seeing tons of growth in PC. That's where the growth is at, and that's because they've already tapped out the console owners for sure.
Yeah, but like they also that's not the strategy anymore. Growing Game Pass, right? I know they reported some small growth this quarter. I don't know if you had a read on that. I saw some people say like, oh, that's not nearly enough growth with Call of Duty being out there. I don't know. What are you thinking of Game Pass? No,
you
nailed
now? It. It's not the strategy anymore. I know it's like for years and years and years. We were saying this is the strategy. Growing Game Pass is the strategy. So it's hard to sort of look at what they're saying now and recognize that they're not talking the same way about it, but they are not talking the same way about it. And they're a bit coy when it comes to these kinds of subjects. But if you just look at how they talk now, it is about selling. I mean, just look at what they're doing. They're putting games on PlayStation to make money. That is the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Super Blastex with the 10th super chat. Thank you, Blastex. Says, just wanted to say thanks for the recent streams. You really been helping with the bullshit out there. You guys have been killing it. Thank you so much, Super Blastex. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. You help us as well.
Oh, Greg says, by the way, what is the soft lock in Dan and the 99 Dan Gins? I do know the final bass has some glitched elements, though. Penis. We're not sure. I think Always Be Clothing was looking into it and says that we might just be past it. So I don't think we have to worry about the soft/hard lock.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to just beat the game next time we play it.
I Hate Mimes, don't tell John Carson, with their first super chat here. It says, first time, long time. Now that Spider-Man 2 has come to Steam, do you think we'll be getting a Demon Souls port? Thanks for the pods, penis.
I do.
Year of the dream. Year of the dream. Everybody, let's go.
Yeah, honestly, that just feels like a game that the only reason it's not on PC yet is because it was just waiting for its turn in line. And I bet that Nix's or some other team has been working on that to get it ready for PC probably by the end of this year.
Maybe chat can be with you can help with this, because like Reddit is such a weird place.
Yes.
And according to Reddit, everybody has turned on Spider-Man 2 is the impression I get.
Oh, yeah.
Which I find somewhat weird.
These are all people who are like, the story.
Right, you're right. That's what they say. They're like, the story falls apart in the second act.
I'm like, but the swinging. What are you talking about? Fucking Christ.
Duke, the swinging.
It's a Spider-Man game. Go swing. You goddamn children.
You ever go on the Last of Us 2 subreddit?
Constantly.
It's wild. These people are still so mad about Last of Us 2.
That
Every
makes me
other
upset in
post,
my tummy.
Yeah, every other post is them being mad about the casting for Ellie still. They're still upset about that. The show's a big hit. A lot of personal attacks on that actress. It just needs to be destroyed.
Yes.
Look, I'm no Last of Us 2 fan, but holy shit.
Well, you've moved on with your life. Like, God, that is just that's always the story is you cannot like something, but you gotta move on. God, if the people had just done that with Star Wars, the Last Jedi, imagine the world that we'd be in if they could have just moved on with not liking something.
Yeah, that weird course correction they did because, like, some people didn't like that movie. It's wild. I'll give you that. I'm not like some giant Episode 8 fan, but boy, did they course correct like crazy for basically no reason.
No reason.
Yes, Christian.
Sorry, I was about to say the funny thing we did in early Game Mess design is that we completely ignore the release of that game. We didn't even talk about it like ever that year they came out. It was like super
Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, I was like,
I don't even remember not talking about it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they thought we were Xbox fanboys, because in their mind, the biggest game ever came out and we didn't care. And I'm like,
and I gave Returnal a 3 out of 5, so that's
right. Yeah, there was just a string of things like that for a bit. Returnal, that, and I forget you were making a lot of Jim Ryan jokes, and everyone's like, he hates PlayStation.
Big Jimmy.
They accuse you to give a 10 to that Xbox game you never played.
Yes.
Right, the Medium.
The Medium,
best. That was the best.
That. Jeff Grubb, the gamer, gave it a 10 out of 10.
You even post a screenshot and it's not your name in the byline. I still don't even know how that happened. That was the best part.
That's a good time.
Ali Merkel says, hey, boys, any of the new fighters coming out you're looking forward to? Any to predict in the year of dreams? Got my love of them reignited after attending a Midwest tourney this weekend.
Hey, awesome.
I mean, you might talk about later.
Garu.
You were playing the new Virtual Fighter 5. I haven't gotten to start it yet. I'm waiting to get into a code in. Did that come in? Not yet. But anything else this year?
Yeah, Garu, or however you say it.
Garu.
Well,
it's just Fatal Fury again. It's a Fatal Fury City of the Wolves again.
Right.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. That will be great. That's outside of that. I don't know if we're gonna get another big one this holiday. Virtual Fighters, that's not happening this year. The new Virtual Fighter, right? That's a little bit further away.
That's further away. I mean, we got a bunch of those collections from Capcom coming, right? Still the
I'm very excited for
I have a couple games. Then just one game and one character. I'm waiting for Lucy on Guilty Gear Strive, the Edge Runner character, and then Impact, the Hunter x Hunter tag team video game that they're making. I think it's the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 folks. They're the people making that game, so I'm really excited. It came out lately. It came out information about like the gameplay. They have like active tags where like your character will come in like attacking from the other side. It looks very nutty, and I really like that stuff. So
the other thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. I'm completely off topic. You guys finish.
Okay. Yeah. I just wondering is Ark going to like be releasing maybe another game this year? Is it time for a new Blaze Blue or Dragon Ball game?
I don't know about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. They did like their last update like a year ago. They say this is our last update. They put rollback in it. I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
Well, that's why you make the sequel, right? Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah, but I don't know how how feasible that is because like it took them a lot of work to just get the first one done. I don't think they're
Yeah, but it's sold a lot. It's sold like 10 million copies. I feel like
it
they would
was
just
very
want to do
popular.
it anyways.
My dream, year of dreams, I'm putting it out there is they made a Shonen Champ like versus Dragon Ball or something like that, and you get all the characters from Shonen Champ like from every other manga anime you have there. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And maybe I don't know, Persona fighting game. Maybe we got
Persona.
maybe.
Chat's saying apparently there was a One Piece Arc Systems fighting game that's been rumored forever. So who knows? Maybe that.
Maybe yeah. But some also like is that an arena fighting game? I don't know.
I mean, if
Well,
Arc was
Arc
making it, I would
doesn't-
assume not. I hope not, anyways.
I hope not, but like on there. Well, yeah, I don't know. I choose those two. I'm excited.
Okay.
I get
right.
associated with Daikatana as well. Someone just pinged me.
Oh.
Something happened with Daikatana, an old or an account that posts old stuff about a Daikatana release party, and someone's like, "Hey, Jeff Grubb." So that's fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're
Oh.
probably one of the very few people in the world who has, finished that game, especially the base version.
Especially on that build. Yep, and
Yeah.
Bubsy 3D as well.
No
so.
mods. You did it raw, brother.
I did, yes,
respect.
I did. And Daikatana, I did it raw. That's right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for the super
okay.
chats for now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mikey. Thank you, both of you, for letting me know about new fighting games. And thank you all for those super chats. If there are any more, we'll get to them before the end of the show. In the meantime, let's take one more break. Let's get set up for... Well, actually, when we get back, we are going to do N64 versus PlayStation. We're going to do a draft, but it's a little bit of a twist. We'll talk about it after we get back.
You're making me draft again? I thought I said never again.
Yep.
Oh, no.
You're gonna draft. He
draft,
wants
brother.
a draft, and you're gonna draft. God
I'm gonna
damn it!
take Penny out.
Yeah, that Impact news came out, and all the old heads were like, "Oh shit, not again, not this fucking degeneracy." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
All right, let's see. Got to keep the top 100 Switch game
Oh,
stocks separate and
2XKO. Fuck,
safe.
I totally forgot 2XKO.
Oh, yeah, 2XKO,
Also
duh.
that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. The thing is, I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah, probably not. All
They
right.
said they're going to. But... Are you trying an Impact, Alan Miracle? Or what are we talking about?
Let's see here. All right, that's the middle.
Oh, yeah. I really wanna try that game. Hope they release a beta or something.
View, and we're gonna freeze the first row.
Jeff, I think you might like Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
It's really
Wait, the anime or the game?
the anime.
Oh, okay. I was taking out the trash tonight, Christian, and I was thinking to myself, not in the mood for anime right now.
Oh,
I don't know, I don't know where that thought even came from. You know what it was? It's like Netflix added that boxing anime, and I'm like, I really want to watch this, but then when I go to sit down to
Hajime no
watch
Ippo?
it, yes, when I go to sit down to watch it, I'm like, I'm just not in the mood for anime. I
it do be like that sometimes.
but you know what? I'm like also not in the mood for most TV movies. Really, I'm like, I'm like don't have an attention span right now. It's a big problem.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I had those times. Yeah, I've been there before. Yeah, totally not like watching any like shows or like movies even. Like even though I really like movies, I was just like, it's just playing video games
Okay.
and
let's
listening to
see
music.
here.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see there.
Because
This.
like I feel like anime, even though I can have it on the second screen and like I'm pretty good with reading on the second screen, I need to focus,
Yes, totally.
and sometimes I can. Yeah. I don't know. I you say that, and I'm like, anime is pretty fucking good
Oh,
nowadays. Yeah. So if you have like there's for every taste that you want like a weird drama stuff, you can get some drama stuff. Weird action stuff, you can get action.
I'm
Just
back.
good time.
Stop talking
We're
about
gonna
anime.
Yeah, I saw you sitting down, and I was like, he's gonna cut me out eventually, and you didn't. You just stay there.
Okay. Well, actually, let me move this like this, and then move
Yeah,
that like that.
like J.D. Camp says, choose read the novelization of Spielberg movies.
Okay,
There you go.
that's a good idea. Almost got it.
Yeah, like I saw there's a novelization of Jurassic Park.
All right, I am
All right,
set
yeah.
up and ready to go.
Do you have the... perfect. I should saw it coming up on the screen. Let's
Yep,
go.
there it is. Okay. All right. All right, we're back, and it's time to draft. This time, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be an all-star draft. So me and Mike are picking all-star teams. What does that mean? It's like if you watch sports in the past, they don't really do it this way all the time anymore. But they used to be like, okay, here's the Eastern Conference, here's the Western Conference, and we're going to pick the best players from each conference and then pit them against one another. And so we're going to do the same thing with N64 and PlayStation. Mike's going to draft the PlayStation team. He's the coach of the PlayStation team. I'll be the coach of the N64 team. I think what we should do with Mike is we'll just go back and forth like we normally do, pick our games, and then at the end, I think we should be given the opportunity to make a pitch for our team, and then we let the podcast producers vote on which one they want.
Make a pitch for a team. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Be like, why is this a good list of games?
It's interesting because we don't have to fight over the same pool of games this time.
Right, but I think there's still an interesting, like, oh, I should be thinking about how to counter that, or maybe try to make people think, oh, I can't get this over there, something along those lines.
I'll be clear, like, I'm not looking at any, like, best PlayStation games list or anything like that. This is all coming off my noggin. Are you doing the same?
I looked earlier today to, like, help remind myself, but I'm not looking now.
Right. I just want to be clear, I don't have to do that.
You're a better person, and also might have an advantage here with the PlayStation library. So we'll see.
We'll see about. Well, you keep telling me about how the 64 is the most interesting video game console ever. So let's see that.
And I said the PlayStation's the coolest. And which one do you think people like more?
But you know how I usually do in these. I will. No, I shouldn't even say it because then people always vote about gallery. I think you say it.
It will be because people will know whose is whose, and obviously they'll know in ours. But I will be interested to see when we just put it out on I guess I'll have to put it on Twitter because Blue Sky doesn't have a polling system. I will be interested to see what the response is at that point. Okay. I think go ahead, Mike.
How many games each? 12 again?
Let's do 12.
Yeah, usual 12.
All right. And honestly, that might actually even things out for the N64 a little bit because one of the benefits of the PlayStation is the breadth of its library. So, Mike, I think you should start, though, please.
Yeah, I'll take a game called Metal Gear Solid. Number 1 draft pick. PlayStation 1 game that's very good and still holds up really well for me. Incredible look and vibe, aesthetics, the cinematic quality of it is still really neat. A lot of weird gameplay ideas in there and super memorable boss fights. Awesome soundtrack. Yeah, I'll take Metal Gear Solid.
I might be screwed. All right, I'm going to go with Super Mario 64. They got the best 3D game from that generation was the launch game for the Nintendo 64. Still fun to play today. And bright, colorful, fun, good time, great music. A lot of fun, different kinds of levels. Really good, interesting structure for a 3D platformer. Where with the hub world, they kind of just solved a lot of problems right out of the gate, and it didn't just solve them, made them immediately extremely fun.
I will take Final Fantasy VII. Next is the game that made RPGs and JRPGs mainstream for a bit there. And I think they're lasting kind of popularity still to this day. The reason that these games can still sometimes sell 5+ million copies is because a lot of people played Final Fantasy VII back then and started a whole kind of West Coast fandom for these things after years of people not really getting into Dragon Quest or older Final Fantasies.
I think I will go with The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I think this is another one of these games where it's like, hey, a 3D action adventure game. How do we make that fun and like a pleasure to play? And the Z targeting was the answer, and then all of the excellent world design, the great dungeons, excellent characters, the time jump system. All that stuff just made it such a good time as well. So yeah, Ocarina of Time. I mean, one of the most influential games before the break of the century for sure.
I'm going to go with Castlevania Symphony of the Night because aside from amazing and groundbreaking 3D games, the PlayStation also has some of the best and prettiest 2D games that you will find out there. with incredible CD audio, all-timer soundtrack. The game that's, kind of gave us what Metroidvania is. It put the Vania in Metroidvania, right? It still is just one of the best, one of those games you could play.
All right. I'm gonna have to lean into the strengths of the Nintendo 64 at this point already, and I'll get to all of these eventually. But let's get some multiplayer ones in there. If you have friends and you're not a nerd who needs Castlevania, you could play Mario Kart 64, a fun party game that is going to keep people entertained for the entire night. Long after they stop coming over to your house because you keep just hogging the PlayStation alone to play Final Fantasy VII.
I'm going to go with Tekken 3. Still one of the greatest 3D fighting games ever, with a ton of fun side modes. I know that the Nintendo 64 has great 3D fighters like Mace the Dark Age and other things, I'm sure. But I think Tekken 3 can stand among the best of them.
You're not worthy to kiss Mace the Dark Age's boots. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna think. You know what? I think that part of this is just gonna be okay. These are not the best in the franchise always, but the name will help me, I think, with some people. And again, good fun party game regardless. Super Smash Brothers. That is, I get Melee perfected everything, but Super Smash Brothers actually still is fun, good time, and if you're just trying to have a fun time with friends, this is another game that will unlock that.
And it doesn't have tripping.
Okay, never mind. Can I take it back?
Resident Evil 2. The first Resident Evil was a landmark 3D game on the PlayStation, and the sequel just improved it in just about every way. Two very distinct campaigns, and it even sort of changes depending on which order you play them in. So just a ton of replay value there. The Raccoon City Police Department is one of the all-time great video game locations. Still stands as one of the best survival horror games of all time.
I'm gonna pick Resident Evil 2.
I knew you'd do it.
I might do that eventually, but I'm not doing it now. We'll wait. Someone said Jeff could do the funniest thing, and I was thinking it, so why not? Let's see. I think I'll just put this here because again, I'm gonna try to get some of these multiplayer ones all grouped together so I can then kind of think of it more broadly after that. WWF No Mercy. No Mercy. Again, like if you're looking for fun wrestling games, you're actually going to be out of luck on PlayStation a little bit. WWF No Mercy, way better than anything you get on the PlayStation in this genre, and also an incredible great party game. If you're having friends over, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, WWF No Mercy, pizza, a 2-liter of Coke, you're going to have a good time.
Oh, I can maybe dispute that a little bit, but I think you might have me on that one. Maybe I'll go to that one a little bit later. I don't think I need to play the SmackDown card right now. I'm gonna go with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And yeah, I know Nintendo 64 has this game, and that's a way you can play it if you don't mind listening to like 20-second samples of the music instead of the whole robust, incredible CD quality audio. But yeah, just an improvement over the first game in every way. The manual helps you string together incredible combos, tons of fun levels. The Hangar is still an all-time favorite. Good stuff.
Okay. I'm thinking between a couple of things. Do I want to? That should probably just be on there eventually. So I'll just put it here. I'm gonna put Star Fox 64. Because if my list cannot like thrive on people's nostalgia for Nintendo games specifically, kind of don't stand a chance. So Star Fox 64, the best Star Fox game it is, and it's one that just looks great, sounds great, plays great. Has a lot of charm. I think this is where the support characters really came into their own, and one you can play over and over again and explore in different ways, and it's still fun to go back to today.
I'm gonna go Spyro the Dragon. All right, we have our own great 3D platformers here. Very fun, colorful, fantasy world. The mechanics of gliding and head bashing and breathing fire are all a lot of fun. Spyro is just a neat character.
All right, where are we at? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 left. I should put GoldenEye here. GoldenEye 007. I think I probably prefer Perfect Dark, but GoldenEye 007's got too much juice when it comes to people seeing that name and having positive feelings. So it's going to have to be on my list to try to win people over that way. But yeah, also just a fun game, actually, as a single player game, one that you could challenge yourself by going back to over and over and trying out higher difficulties, and had a lot of fun stuff when you did that. And then a game I played endlessly with my friends, coming over and again having pizza parties and sleepovers and just playing this constantly for months and months.
For my next one, am going to go with Final Fantasy Tactics.
Good call.
Yes, a fun tactical spin on Final Fantasy was still one of the best stories ever told in the franchise. Still a beloved game to this day. Everybody's still desperately hoping that we get another remake of it, even though we already got one. Yes, but what about second remake? Just very good stuff.
Okay. I feel like I've got the very biggest ones. I guess for party games, there's still a couple that I could pull out, but I think maybe I should get into like some of the real standout games that maybe are a little underappreciated, but definitely help fill out the library. I will go with Wave Race 64 here. Because Wave Race was the Game Boy one, and Wave Race 64.
It's Wave Race 64.
And Wave Race is another one. Is like when you think about the context of when this came out, is astounding that they were able to like make this physics simulation out of the gate that just feels correct, just feels right. It is like a poetic understanding of the way people feel when they are riding these jet skis on water, and to replicate that in such a way that is both truthful and fun. It's a kind of a miracle, and holds up better than so many games from its time because of that. I will play this today and immediately be like, God, this feels better than just about anything else coming out right now.
Would be almost funny if it were Jet Moto, but no, Jet Moto's not as good as Wave Race. I can admit it. That's okay though, because we
it was cooler, maybe even. Yeah.
Unless people think that you have all the great multiplayer split screen games over there, I will offer up Twisted Metal 2.
Yeah.
Still maybe the epitome of the entire kart combat genre. You can play as a guy whose hands were cut off so that he could be two giant wheels. You can blow up the Eiffel Tower. Still just a really ridiculous fun time.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, just having the words Twisted Metal on this list is going to activate a lot of people.
Like Dan Reichert.
The Dan Reicherts of the world. Okay. Let's see here. Do I want to do this one or that one? I'm going to go with Mario Golf. I think that one maybe slightly edges out Mario Tennis. God, both games are so good. Mario Tennis is just immediately so satisfying to play. But I'm going to go with Mario Golf. Again, another one where it's like, oh, this is going to hit a different group of people that you're hanging out with. This is a fun one to play with the family. A lot more people will be willing to try. It's easy to understand, difficult to master, and there's enough variability there that anyone can feel like they're still in it whenever you're playing.
I am now going to pick Ridge Racer Type 4. A game that, according to one Jeff Grubb, is the most polished video game of all time. And who am I to disagree? Just some of the all-time slickest menus, maybe the best soundtrack ever, a awesome campaign mode, racing physics with great feeling drifting, just one of the all-time greats for sure.
I will go with F-Zero X. I mean, maybe the most astonishing racing game of the generation in terms of, while Ridge Racer has a beat in terms of style, being able to actually fit any style into a game that was going this fast was impressive on its own. Having that many other racers on the track at the same time for an N64 game was impressive. The course design was very good, made you feel like, God, I don't know what's going to happen around this next bend, and then a really good soundtrack.
Okay, so we have 10 each right now, so there's only room for 2 more. So I want to be mindful here and try to make sure I'm not forgetting something. Excuse me, really important. There's a lot of places I could go. Right? Should I make another appeal to the RPG fans? Maybe. Do I just go for another one of the kind of big PlayStation franchises that's missing here right now? Even though I don't know how big some people are on that stuff anymore. Do I go to like one that's a really quality game, but I'm not sure if the reach is as insane as it used to be. I think I'm going to go for maybe that last one, because I think it might be a good appeal here. I'll go with Parasite Eve for the 11th pick.
Oh, that's a good 11 pick.
Yeah, Parasite Eve still feels so unique as this kind of survival horror meets RPG experiment. Stands out a ton still. I think it's a game that a lot of people have fondness for and think about a lot. Very unique stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised. I'm like at my pick number 11, and there's still a ton of things I wish I could fit onto this list, actually. So I guess that's a good sign, but also feel like I'm going to be leaving a lot of stuff off. I think that I'm covered for like racing games with F-Zero X and Wave Race and Mario Kart. So while Episode 1 Racer would be awesome to have on here, and maybe would go longer, I think it would be a shame to leave off Banjo. So I'm going to put Banjo-Kazooie on here. I think just pound for pound, that will get me the most votes. Banjo-Kazooie is actually a really amazing 3D platformer where it's like, oh, okay, someone actually could take what Nintendo did and then build on it in a lot of interesting ways. It's bigger and more ambitious. It feels like you go into these stages and there's a lot more going on. And then it's got kind of it's more well animated. And the swapping between characters made it feel a lot punchier, where like, when you were running around as Kazooie, you could just run up these walls and it just, you felt more able as a character overall. So yeah, Banjo-Kazooie just really solid. And it also has a deep exploration where there's so much hidden all over the place. You could play the game for a long time and take up like your entire summer break just playing this.
Oh, okay. My last pick. There's so many places I could go here. Like, I think the best selling game on the PlayStation is Gran Turismo 2. How much do people care about Gran Turismo anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, for our audience, right? Like, who knows how that's going to help.
Right. I could just do another Final Fantasy game, but that would be another Final Fantasy game. If I did another RPG, it would be Suikoden 2. And I know that would speak to the RPG people, but I might have them already anyways.
Yeah, I think you're probably set there.
Are there going to be people who are mad that I don't have Banjo? I don't know. I don't think people are going to be that mad that I'm not Banjo. Crash. Are people going to care I don't have Crash on here? I could do Crash 2. Crash Bandicoot 2 would be a very safe one, especially for very, nostalgic PlayStation fans. So maybe Spyro just covers me on that one. Anyways, part of me wants to pick one of the Mega Man games that I like, but again, I don't know how much people... I love Mega Man Legends. If Sean was here, Sean would be very happy for me doing Mega Man Legends, or I could do Mega Man X4 also. But again, I don't know how much people care. That's interesting. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. I'm going to do Crash Team Racing.
Ooh, that's a good call.
A car is a game that actually is better than Mario Kart 64. It's not using kind of weird pre-rendered characters, a lot of fun, interesting tracks. Yeah, CTR is good stuff.
Yeah, I think that pick's going to go a long way for you. Yeah, Crash Team Racing. I think Crash Team Racing is good. I think you're right. It's probably a little bit better than Mario Kart 64. It learned
You
a
heard
lot.
it, everybody. He says it's better than Mario Kart 64, his game.
At the time, I definitely was just like, whenever I play Crash Team like this, just feels like a cheap knockoff. But I think it's held up
Mike,
over
that's
time.
a great pick. Mike, that's a great pick.
Nicky.
Huge pick. Good job, Mike.
Thank you, Nicky.
I think for this one, again, I'm like going for someone's going to see this and say, hell yeah, I love that game. And I think when I look at all the other options I have in front of me, I definitely like many of them better than this one, but I think it's still a good game. And it's one of those ones, it's shocking it's even on the N64, not just because of the content, but really because of the tech. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I just think that it'd be... I think, like, especially comparing to the other games on my list, I think this gets me a slightly different group of people.
I think that's smart.
All right, the Mighty Pooh is funny. There you go.
It's funny that the poop sings.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mike, go ahead and give people your pitch.
The Mitch Station has Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Tekken 3, Resident Evil 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Spyro the Dragon, Final Fantasy Tactics, Twisted Metal 2, Ridge Racer Type 4, Parasite Eve, Crash Team Racing.
Yeah,
Here's the pitch.
That's a pretty good pitch. Yeah, mine. My list is Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Super Smash Brothers, WWF No Mercy, Star Fox 64, GoldenEye 007, Wave Race 64, Mario Golf, F-Zero X, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. If you're a cool person with friends, come on, it's not even a question. Like, if you have friends over your house, just not even a question.
What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid son of a bitch? Not a single Pokemon game.
Well, okay, what?
Oh, the 64 Pokemon.
Yeah, what
Pokemon
Come on.
Snap gets you so many more
Okay.
votes than Wave Race
That's it.
64, you dumbass.
No.
Well,
sorry,
okay,
sorry. Just need to say.
I-
Nikki,
Pokemon
back me
Snap.
up. Nikki, back me up on this one.
Pokemon Stadium would have been really smart because that has
Thank
a whole
you.
Mario Party inside of it, so it's kind of
Thank
two
you.
games.
I
This is kind
rented
of
that
a
game. I'd
foolish
have
list,
fun.
Chef Grubb. I
It's-
think you're gonna lose, bud.
This
Oh,
man
yeah.
thinks Mario Kart 64 is better than CTR. What does he know?
What is
Well,
He does
I
it.
did
a
literally say
jump.
that I think, yeah,
Oh.
maybe CTR holds
Yeah.
up better than that. Yeah, listen,
okay. There's
I
only one good Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart 8.
well, yeah, man,
That's-
Mario Kart
that's
7 is pretty okay.
I get to give my pitch now.
Yes.
$2.99.
It was $250. Everybody, the N64 was only $250. So there you go. The PlayStation was also that price by the time the N64 came out. Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, like, the thing that really makes the N64 sing is a lot of stuff that I did have to leave off. But I don't know, like, yeah, sure, I would love to have put a Pokemon game on here and hope that would get me far. I don't. Like, when I think of Pokemon Stadium, I'm like, oh, that's all the N64 has for Pokemon. Snap is a good one.
Yeah, it's too bad you have to put a mediocre game just to try to appeal to a niche fan base.
Yeah, exactly.
Niche
But
fan base is like the Mario Party fan base.
I knew that would activate. I knew it.
No, I'm just pointing out what a fucking.
But Wave Race 64 is such a better game, Sean. I know it'd be a crime to leave off that and 10 and
You
1080.
sound
and
so much like Mike circa 6 months ago. Why aren't the people picking my list? It's better. It's not about that, man.
Oh no, I know that's the whole rest of the list. I wanted one for me, just one for
I can't
me.
wait to see people.
I've
murder you.
had just one for me bite me in the butt before, and
Oh,
it's not a
listen.
good feeling, is it?
I don't think I stand much of a chance here, everybody. Let's be clear.
I think he has a great chance, and I wouldn't be surprised or mad if I lost.
I feel like this
boy.
would be the one where you'd be the most furious. By the way, I mean, I know that's what you're saying there. I get the joke, but I just want to point out that I think if I win this one, oh boy. All right. So what we do now is we will present these lists to our podcast producers in the Discord. They will vote on their favorite, and they have the deciding vote. But I'll also throw this out there on social media, and we'll see what everyone says when it's kind of a blind vote. Okay. While we do that, let's take one more break. We'll come back and talk about what we've been playing and clean up any super chats we might have received.
All right.
Okay.
I'm good just to go.
Yeah.
Breakaroo.
Let me post
Wait
this
a second.
to social
we need
media
to
real quick.
post that.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you change the names?
Yep.
I'm gonna do a straw poll and post it on.
I am not going to buy the Mario RPG vinyl for $100.
Yeah, I decided against it too.
Let's wait for hopefully an English release.
All right. So let's
English.
see.
English.
Christian, you got the podcast producer pull, or you want me to do that?
Can you do that?
Yeah,
doing
I can do
this,
that.
straw poll.
No Pokemon or Mario Party. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jeff, you're gonna like our new episode of 90s Disney. It's about Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, that okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll make Amy listen with me. God, she still loves that place.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, there's that. Reply. Make a poll. Oh, let's see.
Oh, I don't have.
Okay. You're not
All right.
Right, I gotta put an actual
All
text
right.
in here. Okay. I am good to get into it. Let's wrap this up because you got something going on at 11. So
Yep.
make sure I'll leave this up so people could see it while they're voting.
All good.
All right, bring it back.
All right, we're back in it. I think we did get some more super chats. We'll get to those here in a second. Voting is also happening right now. Let's kill some time and talk about, hey, Mike, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Pretty deep into Dark Souls 3. I've almost finished it. Done some very difficult boss fights from the DLC. The one is relatively infamous amongst fans, Lady Freed or Frida, something like that. It's this 3-phase fight, right? When I first was trying it, took me a hard time to beat phase 2, and I thought I did it. Then phase 3 happened, and I just sort of walked away from that one for a while and did more of the base game. And then came back. Very difficult, but lots of fun. There's these like dual demons that were on fire. I just fought this very difficult dragon in the second DLC that just has so much health and does all these fire breathing attacks, stuff like that. But still, I'm liking Dark Souls 3 a lot. It's probably my favorite of the three. Some of that exploration stuff from one that people miss in 3, that doesn't bother me a whole lot. I really do come to these games first and foremost for the bosses, and the bosses are just so good here, right? They feel amazing, and they definitely feel pretty close to kind of what you
You're
get
saying
in
that
Elden
people
Ring.
miss the exploration and it's not as much here?
Yeah, so like
Okay.
in 1, there's so much of like one area might connect to 3 other areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each area here still interconnects amongst itself a lot, but generally like one area goes to the next area, goes to the next area.
All right.
Right. So I don't know.
Listen, if you really like exploration in a FromSoft game, boy, do I have good news for you. It's called Elden Ring.
Right, exactly. That game definitely is very good at that. That's what I'm still wondering. Like, I think Elden Ring still might be my favorite of all the From Software stuff, and maybe if I went back to it, I wouldn't feel like that. But maybe it's because it was the one I really finally dug my teeth into.
Mike, it's very good. Yes,
it's very good.
Yeah.
I think in the other games, sometimes running around the world isn't necessarily my favorite. Just fighting the normie enemies. Sometimes that stuff still feels a little like clunky or unfair even, and something about the big size of the open world makes that feel better in Elden Ring.
I've been like tuning in every once in a while watching you play, and I'm like, oh man, I'm aware of how much like the Elden Ring stuff is just a continuation of what they did in Dark Souls, but man, Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring just feel like cousins. They feel like so closely related, and it did really make me realize I got to play through these games. I got to play Dark Souls 3 because I love Elden Ring. And I've loved all the FromSoft games I've played at this point, so I should just actually play the ones that really got everyone going. And that's the Dark Souls stuff. So really interesting that you've been playing through these, and it's always been awesome to kind of see how that's progressed. What's next after Dark Souls 3?
Sekiro. Never really got too far in Sekiro, so once Dark Souls 3 is beat, now I might take a little break in between. I might go back to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which I was enjoying quite a bit. I like to play some more of that. And maybe something else. There's so many of these GameCube games that I haven't gotten to. The Skies of Arcadia trademark getting renewed. I would like to finally play that game this year. But the floodgates of new releases is going to be opening up here pretty soon too, right?
Yes.
And I'm expecting some of that stuff, especially Monster Hunter, to take up a lot of my time.
Yeah, but I think you can always, hey, next one's Sekiro, and that's coming up here in a few months when I have some time, and people will just be like excited to hear that and like something to look forward to. If that really is next in line, that's fantastic. I will be tuning into a lot of that. I have played through Sekiro, really love that game, so I think you're gonna really enjoy it. That is when it's like once you get in the flow of that, it is magical.
Yeah, and I kind of was like, in Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Elden Ring, I had very heavy, like big weapon builds and shields, things like that. I've been doing Dark Souls 3 dex builds, so I've been using a lot of fast weapons, and I've been doing sort of low.
Good for prepping, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been rolling a lot more. I haven't been parrying, which I know is like the whole thing with Sekiro, but I'll
practice
get there.
that. Yeah, that was like the one thing. It's like Sekiro was really my first FromSoft game, and hearing from FromSoft freaks, I remember Patrick Klepek talking at the time and mentioning he's like, I never parried in these games. I don't like to do that, and then he's like, well, now I have to learn to do it for Sekiro, and that being like a learning process for him. And it was like for me, it's like, okay, I'm glad I didn't have any preconceived notions, because I just had to like force myself to play this game the way it wanted me to play. And when I got into the vibe of what it was going for, oh, it's so good. Those parries make you feel so damn cool in Sekiro.
Don't worry, I've played Metroid Dread, so I know something about
you're
parrying.
Solid then. You're solid.
Jeff, re-skeet Christian's skeet about the two consoles, would you?
Yeah, no problem.
Chat there.
Do it right now. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Did you at me, Christian, or do I have to like look up?
There's a link there in the chat if you have the chat open.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll look at it right there.
Yep. Aside from those, I've been playing Echoes of Wisdom. I'm like in a very good groove with that game once again now, where I think I'm going to be able to see it through. I'm actually just having a lot of fun with it, especially because I am at that part where it opens up a bit more, right? After you kind of go to Hyrule Castle and do some stuff there. Also, like, guys, I don't, this spoiler, right? But there's kind of that mid-game Ganon fight, right? That's a very good boss fight. I liked that boss fight a lot. He was kind of like throwing his spear, and it would spin around. You could kind of grab it and throw it back to him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, at one point he does shoot out the kind of classic magic ball, and you can turn into Link mode for a second to do the tennis match stuff with him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I was like, this is a very good feeling boss fight, actually. So, yeah, having a lot of fun there. Like taking some time just explore and close some of the smaller rifts to juice up my Link form, but then progressing through the Goron quest stuff now, getting some more fun echoes and whatnot. Yeah, it's funny. Like I don't know why I played the game, was enjoying it, and when I fell off it because all these RPGs were coming out that I just kind of wanted to play more, I almost started dismissing Echoes of Wisdom. I almost maybe started buying into just the things I was hearing. Like, yeah, that game was a disappointment. I'm not saying it's my favorite Zelda game, but I'm liking it a lot still.
It is still a Zelda game. It's still, I think it has a bit of a hump for people to get over, and it also has some baggage the entire time of people can feel weird about the fact that either it's hard to get to the stuff they want to get to in the menus. Fine, I appreciate that. And then a lot of people just, hey, this one thing I do always solves every problem I have, and so this game's becoming rote. And I also appreciate that. But I'm like, I just like to try different things every time. And that solves that problem for me. So it stayed fresh for me as I was playing it.
Yeah, I don't mind necessarily relying on like 3 or 4 of these echoes all the time. Like there's like that one that makes the platform that goes up and down. Yeah. So like, yeah, you use that thing a lot. That's okay. I still kind of feel like, I don't know, I still get a little jolt in my brain when I use it to skip over climbing sections that the game is at least presenting as the intended way, right?
Yes, exactly. I think anytime I feel like I am using these things to do something that I'm getting around something else, it feels like that new Zelda magic. And I think it's easy to overlook how cool that is. Most games don't have that sort of, anything can work vibe to them.
Were you having fun with Virtual Fighter 5 Revo?
Yeah, I think that's a solid fighting game. I think coming out of it, it really did make me be like, ooh, can't wait for that new Virtual Fighter. I am glad we're at this point now where it's like, oh, we have a selection of different kinds of fighting games. We don't have to just be like, hey, if you want to play a fighting game, better learn Street Fighter. I want to learn Street Fighter. Of course, I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter is awesome. It probably is still my preference when it comes to fighting games. But then being like, oh no, the Virtual Fighter's out there and it's got 3 buttons and like that's all you need. And there's plenty of depth still. And as always with fighting games, it really is about, the feinting and bluffing and movement and, and playing the other human. You're not playing the game, you're playing the other human. And that nothing changes about that. In fact, some of it becomes more amplified because there are only 3 buttons. So, yeah, I love Virtua Fighter. I was having a really good time with that.
I don't want to lose my fighting game credit card here, but 6 attack buttons is kind of a lot sometimes.
Yeah, yes,
Wow.
definitely.
You're talking crazy right now.
When I play Fatal Fury or Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm like, this seems like enough. Like
Yep.
before, that's fine, right?
Yep.
I think it depends on the video game, you know.
Oh, clearly.
It probably depends.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you want 6 buttons on Street Fighter because you have more options, and it's not that crazy fast video game. You don't have to do, in like I don't know, Dragon Ball Fighters. You have like 3 attacks, 4 attacks, but you do combos that are like 20 buttons long. If you have 6 buttons, you will go crazy trying to learn a combo. You know what I mean? In Street Fighter, the combos are fairly short, so your stuff is more about the middle section of the screen, have more options for your buttons to be like, this button is like, it reaches longer, but it's slower and that kind of stuff. Having a middle button to have like all those options is really good. So,
And that really
you're
comes
wrong,
out of
Mike.
that comes out of 2D versus 3D as well. Like you need more button
that?
options in 2D because that's
Right.
where the variety comes from. Whereas in 3D, like we were saying during the stream, Jeff, you're right. Like having just 2 attack buttons is fine when it's all about the positioning and everything.
Yep. And that position can like really, you're like, oh, I'm going to get around the side here. And it's like, oh, nope, just got caught with a roundhouse kick that really wasn't much of a threat any other time. And it's like, yeah, okay, that is a cool
Yeah, it
thing
turns
to have
out
to think about.
sidestepping each other and playing those mind games. That's a lot of fun.
Yep.
I hear you and I believe you. But like when I play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and I play Garou, I just don't really miss those 2 other buttons. I just don't.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that's like, this is something that is more important the longer that you play. But you're right.
It's all the priorities of the game.
Yeah,
like,
Marvel vs. Capcom, clearly there are other things happening there that makes it not as important.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's why more anime games tend to go for more the 4-button configuration.
I enjoyed Virtua Fighter. I did start that Motor Town game. That is a kind of open world driving game that's been in early access, made by one person for 3 years. It's kind of like hitting its stride recently. It's getting a lot of attention. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. And I could see why. Like, first I'm like, okay, am I just going to be kind of putt-putting around this world? Sure, once I have my friends in here, we'll have some fun with that. And then it's like, oh no, hit this button to turn on sport mode on your car, and then hit this button to turn on drift mode. And I'm like, oh wait, the physics in this feel really good. And I can just get out of the car like GTA, and now I'm hopping into this little little Japanese mini truck, and I'm driving that around, and I can do deliveries. Oh, and there's like quests here. This is pretty cool. And I'm like very excited to get other people into the game with me and just see if we can like work together on stuff or work against one another. Or what I imagine is going to happen, we all try to do something and accomplish a goal, and then Dan drives a truck into us and trying to like maybe set up defenses and have someone block him while he tries to mess with us or something. I think this is going to be a really good time. So I'm going to play a lot more of that game. I'm going to get it installed on my Steam Deck and maybe just make that my night game for the next little bit. So looking forward to that. And then, getting near the end of the train in Thousand Year Door, every little step of the process of going through the various mysteries they have on the train. All of that has been very fun and very funny. Again, I like that like every character is very distinct. There's not too many of them. You get to know all of them. They all play their role in the adventure. So that continues to be an excellent game.
I like that Sherlock Holmes penguin thing.
Yes,
the character
penguin that calls you Luigi, a very bad detective.
It never stops being funny.
It's very funny. It's great. A lot of my favorite like jokes in RPGs, in Mario RPGs, are like when they just either mistake Mario for Luigi, or they never learn Luigi's name and just call him stuff like Mr. Greenstash. It's like good stuff.
Right.
And then more N64 stuff, more Shadow of the Empire. And what was I playing last night?
I don't know. Blues Brothers, he says. Is that true?
I mean, a little bit. That was mostly just me being like a little stinker. I'm like, I'll play all these bad games and like them, and then you can't ever give me another bad game on Blight Club.
Interesting that Blues Brothers is the one you seem to be most worried about.
I was like, honestly, my ROMs are sorted alphabetically.
Alphabetically, with a B.
So it was between that and Armorine's Project Swarm. So,
right.
Which I did start up as well. I actually didn't have the heart to play that one. So, there you go. A couple of threats you can always make at me. Yeah, so I'm enjoying the N64 quite a bit right now. I am in the mood for it. None of the games, I haven't been playing any of the games I chose on my list tonight, though. So, yeah.